Hi guys, it's Meg from LovenStamps and my watch says 9:30, so here we are with another live video, a LovenStamps studio tour to give you some ideas for organization. So today we're going to talk about scraps and not letting them take over your space like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors, you know, feed me Seymour. So I have a couple of go-to solutions that really work well for me. So one of my strategies is to make sure that when I'm working, so this is my stamping space in front of me, I always have within my arm's reach a garbage, okay? A garbage bin or can or something simple, because I want to make sure that no matter where I am, I can always reach the trash bin. Because what doesn't work for me is to stamp and have little scraps of paper everywhere. And then at the end, there has to be like a big cleanup session, and nobody really loves to do the cleanup session part, right? I know I don't. So the way to avoid doing that cleanup session, for me at least, is to have the scrap bin handy. So this is my go-to. Remember when we used to burn DVDs? I don't know, I guess we still do occasionally, but this is just a plastic DVD bin topper. So really any small bin that you have, there's some really cute pop-up ones. You could even use like a little tote that you have on hand, that kind of works. But I'm gonna show you a DIY, make your own scrap bin that can be seasonal and simple and made from designer series paper. See, here they are, okay? So I'll get to that in 1 second, but basically when I have scraps, I kind of go through three things. So the first one is that I toss my scraps, like I said, in my bin, whatever it is that's handy, so that I'm not cleaning up later. My second one is I keep some of my scraps. And I talked about this in the cardstock video, but when I am working on a project, I usually keep whatever cardstock I want to use handy, my packages, because I don't know what size piece I'm gonna need while I'm stamping. So I like to have the whole thing. And so I keep sort of my working cardstock package and then my scrap package. And so that way I don't have to cut into a new piece of cardstock every time I want a little piece, because the pieces that I need I can easily find in this little bin. All right. Now sometimes you design and you cut and you stamp and you have a whole lot of a particular size of scrap. And so in that case, sometimes I don't keep them if they're just overflowing the bin. I know, gasp. But that actually brings my third thing. So I toss my scraps, keep my scraps, or third, I design with my scraps. And designing with my scraps is something that is kind of fun because it helps you use up things that you're not, they're just sitting on your shelf or whatever. And so I might come up with a card that specifically uses cinnamon cider and uses some of these many long narrow strips that I have, okay? So especially like if you're doing a card swap or you're making Christmas cards for a lot of people or multiples of something, that helps. All right, are you ready to see the DIY scrap bin? Okay, I got this from a gifts.com site. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. From a gifts.com DIY site video little tutorial, and I love the way they did this. So there are a number of different ways you can make your own gift bags, and essentially that's what we're doing. So here I'll show you kind of the two different size ones. And with the designer series paper on sale right now, this is a great time to do that. So make sure you check out to see which ones are on sale. And you're gonna need tape, and you're going to need a really strong adhesive. Stamp and Seal Plus is a great choice. So the first thing I did was take my 12x12 designer series paper and cut it so that I have a 7-inch piece and this 5-inch piece that I'm gonna save for some other fun project. Actually, there's some cool projects with this on my blog if you want to look for those. And then I'm going to turn it to the back and figure out which side is up. And I'm just going to fold into the center. And if you use your grid paper, I love to see how the lines really line up nicely on the grid paper so that everything is square and straight. And then I'm going to take my Seal Plus and I'm going to put a line all the way along the back here. And then I'm going to fold over the other half to match it. It doesn't really matter what the width is here or how much you overlap. It just is whatever you do. So this is a quick and dirty thing, right? It's gonna be a scrap bin. We're gonna toss them when we're full or gluey or whatever. Okay, so then from there, what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold up the bottom and you want to fold up enough to give it a sturdy base, okay? So the one that I did here is, you can see, a little bit wider base than this one, so that makes this bin a little bit sturdier. So I think 1.5 inches or so is a good amount. And again, if I use the lines on my grid paper, then I can see. All right, now here's the trickiest part. You're going to, I'll turn it sideways so you can see. You're gonna fold that back up, you're gonna open it, and you're gonna fold in the corners. And you wanna make sure that that fold goes all the way to the corners. And Gilded Autumn is a great paper for this because it is one of the heavier weight designer series papers. So, all right, so see how we have those folded now? Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold, I'll turn it back this way, you're gonna fold the each of those bottom pieces up, just like that. And then we're gonna switch gears here and just use some Scotch tape. I know you're like flabbergasted, I never use Scotch tape, but this, it works really well because this is going to be on the inside of the box, so you actually don't want to glue, you don't want to glue it with like Stampin' Seal or you won't be able to get your box open. Ask me how I know. All right, so then I'm gonna take this and put my hand inside there and just pop it back open again. And there, let's see, one more little pop. There we have our cute scrap bin, okay? So 7 inches looks like I could have made the base a little bit bigger, or you could make it a little bit shorter. You could do the same thing here with a 5-inch scrap and have a little bit squatter base so that it doesn't fall over. But that gives you an idea here for making your own scrap bins to kind of make the most of your designer series paper and have some fun themed, I'm like sitting on the floor, some fun themed decorations for your scrapping space, your stamping space, and helps you keep those scraps from taking over like that plant from Little Shop of Horrors. So, all right, so tomorrow, I am going to talk about color systems and how to choose colors. So one of the most common things that people ask me about is, how do you know what colors go together? How do you decide what colors to use when you're gonna make a project? So I'm gonna talk a little bit about color systems and how to organize so that the things you want are easy to find. And then, yeah, so if you are enjoying this video series, the LovenStamps Studio Tours, please share it with a friend and make sure you leave me a comment and tell me where you're watching from, because this time that it's really hard to get together in person, it's kind of fun to know that we're gathering people from all over the place, all over the country and the world and so forth. So, all right, thank you guys for tuning in today, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30 Central Time for another LovenStamps Studio Tour. Happy stamping!